We're ready.
Yeah, we're
ready.
Yeah, we are.
Just in the nick of time, Sean.
Just in the nick of time.
Look at all the comments we have already.
Woo!
There's already a train outside. I hear it right now.
Hear my train a-coming.
Trains everywhere. We got all sorts of people. I saw Natasha Nix. I see Alex Holden. That video of the Jaguar this morning. Alex sent us
spooky.
Where was that? You got to send us tell us what area, the general area of the world that was in. But Alex's friend is like in his backyard, looks like, and there's a jaguar, like the giant cat that wants to, grab you by your throat with his sharp teeth and drag you up a tree and then eat you. That kind.
That was a spooky cat, dude.
The sound of that thing was insane.
It was nuts. That boy was
insane.
I thought the audio wasn't real. I thought it was like added.
I think that's
insane.
the actual audio.
If it is that loud.
That's good.
We got all kinds of people.
No.
We got Chad B.
We
There's
got
Chad
Tom.
Barr. Surrender in the house.
Surrender's here.
What?
We got something fun coming from Surrender here soon. Another surprise that you guys are going to benefit from.
I like it.
Which is going to be good. So
they're going to love it. They're going to love it. Fun fact, Eric, I did not miss a button. I like to let the hamburger meat
this man
hang out.
He doesn't, yeah.
You see? Johnny gets it. Johnny gets it. There's a looseness to this that you got to have.
There's a looseness. I used to, when I would play, I would just have my, and my wife would always be like, my God, buttons and buttons. I'd be like, woman, don't you touch me.
What's really
Stay
good,
off
though,
me, woman.
you get her drinking enough, the buttons start coming off. She's like, let me take those buttons off.
I don't have to get anybody drinking.
Hot
I don't need to enhance things.
He is not using performance-enhancing
take
drugs.
That what you will.
I love it. Oh, man.
You got to just go for it. The Mighty Woodrow, we're going to see the Mighty Woodrow later today. That's probably why Sean didn't have his shirt buttoned up.
I'm prepping, dude.
Prepping.
I'm ready.
I wore buttons today because of that. Because I know that when we see the Mighty Woodrow, he's going to be full.
It's coming
full
out.
So I thought best I can do is put on the old Wrangler Western shirt.
He said, I call that the MILF snare.
They get caught in those chest hairs. Their hands won't let go.
We
got great. We got everybody. All sorts of things. I know I saw the mayor in here somewhere. He was ready to light the candle as always.
That's right.
They said Jaguars. Sean's out for Cougars. Cougar hunting.
Ow. I like it.
It's a thing. It's a sport. I hear that's going to be in the Olympics next year. Right next to the breakdancing. It's going to be great. Or maybe the breakdance was out, so they're going to put the cougar hunting in.
The cougar hunting in. That would be funny if they scored it, and it was like a fake bar is set up, and there's people at the fake bar, and you walk up and you got to hit on.
I've known some talented,
How's it going?
Some talented cougar hunters, and I feel like the
lady. Your daughter at home.
Breakdancing could maybe participate in this as well.
I think she could. She could maybe be a cougar.
That's what I'm saying.
Hanging out, be sitting there.
That's what I'm saying. Where did we find a guitar-wielding Sasquatch? I believe that was made for us.
That was made for us.
In fact, I believe it was supposed to be me at some point.
Yeah, I think
strangely.
He asked Baxter for ideas. This guy will 3D print and laser cut out signs for us just to do it. He loves coming to the shop and hanging out and playing. So he asked Baxter for an idea, and Baxter said, make Jonathan, but make him like a Sasquatch holding a guitar.
And by make me like a Sasquatch, they just made a Sasquatch.
They just made a Sasquatch.
I'm sort of a fan of.
I think the joke is
I'm fine.
It's quite funny if you think about it that way.
So, strangely, you mean accurately. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But anyways, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. The mayor says, is this the Swollen Pickle Club? Hey, it's about to be. It's about to be, Hoss. I broke down, ordered the old way huge swollen pickle on the old Sweetwater card. But listen,
do it.
So our friend, the Mayor McCheese, he's been on a swollen pickle kick. He's been redoing his pedal board. Sean's been redoing his pedal board. Which I think we're going to talk about today. I've been making some changes too, and I feel like I'm going back to some simpler things But if you heard us talk much, you know that I love way huge pedals.
Yep.
And I think I'm going on a hunt. So I've got the Red Llama.
A huge hunt.
I've had the Aquapus longer than any pedal I've ever had. I've had an Aquapus on my board.
Disgusting.
That's what you would say. And I've gone down the YouTube rabbit hole. I've been watching all these old things. Here's what I need, guys. I've got Green Rhino. I've got Red Llama. I got a Swollen Pickle on the way. I've got an Aquapus. I really need the Fat Sandwich, which is discontinued.
Discontinued.
But the thing I need the absolute most, and if anyone out here wants to trade me, I'm cash poor, but I'm pedal rich. So if you want to trade, if you got a Fat Sandwich by way huge, and I'm not talking about the old ones that are worth like $1 bazillion. I'm talking about the reissues.
Anything. Any Fat Sandwich.
Hit me up. Fat Sandwich or the pork loin. That's the one I really, really want. That was my favorite pedal forever. And my son last night said, Dad, why would you get rid of such a thing? And I was like, because I'm a fool, son. Because I'm a fool. And I'm afflicted with an illness. But he was right. He laid me bare there. But I need a pork loin. So if you find a pork loin and you want to trade, I'd be willing to make a very good trade, pedal-wise. Just hit me up.
Is there any pedal? Are those the two that you'd kick yourself for getting rid of?
The pork loin is probably my favorite pedal ever that I've gotten rid of. That I'm like, man, that was dumb. You know?
I've yet to. I know that day will come where I'll have to probably purge some stuff and get rid of some magic.
For the most part, now I'm trying to just keep pedals.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm trying to do that with sort of everything, but I don't know.
It's tricky because sometimes you got to trade like this. Like you got to trade out to kind of get what you want back in the mix.
I mean, I could just give it a little bit and then just buy one. There's a pristine one in Nashville, and I thought about hitting that guy up on Reverb. And I may just buy that one. I may just suck it up and buy that one.
I'm excited for you to get a Swollen Pickle in, and I want to compare it to the Crimson.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to do a muffathon.
A muffathon. Swollen Pickles everywhere. Big muffs. Crimsons. What else do we have that are? We got a T4 over there?
Nope, Brian just bought it. It's gone. Damn it, Brian. Damn it.
Take it with him? Is he still in town?
Oh, he's gone. Yeah.
What a piece of...
Back up north. He's probably watching.
Of course he's up north. No offense to our northern friends.
Okay. Well, Blaine just asked this. He says, have you ever bought a second copy of the same pedal as a backup just in case because it's so crucial to your sound?
I actually, well, sort of. I've bought multiples to put on 2 different boards. Like right now I have 2 different Dispatch Masters and I have 2 MD200s because I don't like, and you're going to be like, what an idiot. But that's fine. That's the theme of today, apparently. Jonathan's an idiot. Once I have a board locked down, I don't really like pulling stuff on and off in certain spots.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I just hate it. So like I have the one MD200 and I love it so much. And then I wanted my little smaller grab and go / like fly board. And I hated pulling my MD200 off the big board. Mm-hmm. So I actually traded Sean for his because yeah,
it's cool.
And I just said it exactly the same. And then same thing with the Dispatch Master, man. I just my main big board, I don't like pulling stuff on and off of that. So
I feel like those have become. I'm going to use the word vanilla flavors for you personally, not because they are vanilla and boring, but because that has become a part of your sound to the place.
They're just mainstay.
That's just what works.
The other big thing, and I didn't even think about this, is I had Mike over at Tonto FX. He sent me some multiples of things for the same reason to have, because I was running, I had a small board for certain things. And part of mine is like, we did a video a while back. I was talking about having a little board for when I'm running a dirty amp versus a totally clean amp. So for me, essentially, whether I'm running the Twilighter or the M80, which I'm like, yeah, first world pedal board problems. But so I have some multiples of the Tontuga stuff too. But the Delphine is like the thing. I mean, there's a lot of the drives that I like, and I feel like that's what I tend to change out is drive flavors. Yeah. But like the Delphine is a dual like analog delay. And it does this weird thing. It's got a preamp built into it, so you can have a little boost. I think the idea was that sometimes in delays, your signal like kind of shrinks to the back. It sounds quieter, even though it's not. It's probably just perceived volume. So that preamp, you can balance it out or boosts it. Something about the Delphine, like even with it all the way down, there's still like a little bit of boost, and it does something sweet to the amp. So I mean, it's kind of hard for me to not play with that at the moment as well.
I like that.
Tom's like, we know why you're cash poor. That's right. I was actually talking to, we were trying to work out a show with Eddie 9-Volt. And we were having that same discussion last night. And I was like, man, if I hadn't worked at a music store all these years, I'd have none of these things. But at least when I die poor one day, my children will have all these nice instruments and pedals to sell.
I'm going to answer that previous one. I only own a duplicate of one pedal, and it's the Avalanche Run. And the duplicate that I have is because I burned the other one up 3 times in a row. It was an older version. I blew it up 3 times in the course of like 4 years. So I bought this new one, and I kept the old one. The old one still works, but it's a little funky. And the new one was the Aurora Borealis one. Ooh. So it looks sick. I was like, yeah, I'm going to have that. But Mayor McCheese asked, he says, Sean, has getting a Boss RE20 ruined delay pedals for you? I don't have an RE20. I've got the Space Echo. And no, it hasn't. I'll tell you what I do like. Whenever I'm recording, I'll use the Space Echo more because it actually does, like, obviously it all being analog and all the parts moving and stuff, it actually warps and wobbles a bit. So, like, it just stops sometimes. It's like, whoa, and then comes back up. Yeah. And it's like, I didn't notice it while I was playing because I was just tracking and, going for it. And I listened back to it after that. I was like, oh, that's cool.
God, that makes me want that.
It was dope, dude. I was like, whoa. But I do want to get an RE20. I think I need to get one of those little Space Echo boxes. But I have no room on my pedal board. I can actually... I'm sure you have photos as well. I'm going to send Derek
pedal board photos
of the pedal board.
Of your most current one?
Yes.
Okay. I think I got my most current. Well, I just redid my I just did that one the other day that I put out that was like, oh, my simple.
You mean to airdrop this to you, Derek? That'd be the best.
Airdrop.
Yes?
Yes.
Sorry, it's been so audio.
You're good. Everything good on that end?
I just sent one to Derek too. This was the one I just sent to Derek. The only one that I have handy is my little board that I was sort of simplifying the other day. I might have another one on my bigger board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent mine to your computer because I'm a professional. Because I know how these things work. Yeah, I have too many pictures. Too many dumb pictures. I might find another one. But
Tom Beatty says, "Isn't your Space Echo like a real one?" It is a real one.
It is actually just like a real one.
It's nuts. It's so cool, and there's okay. So
this is Sean's new crazy board.
I was running 2 boards before, and I
because that's reasonable, totally reasonable.
Totally reasonable. I want to talk through the idea. Me and Johnny have talked on this forever.
I mean, ad nauseum.
Well, it's legitimate. Pedal board real estate
is
I mean,
it's the thing, man. And if you
so, well, and like looking at this, right? I had the full size Big Muff on there before. Like I said, next week we're doing a Muffathon. But
Muffathon.
This week, I just want to let you know I had to lose the true Big Muff. It was giving me a couple issues, but the Crimson has taken its place. I did them side by side, did some checks with them, and it's like
here's another. I'm sending you another one, Derek.
It's good. It's just needs a little something,
The one I just sent Derek is totally changed now, but we can get an idea. We can talk about the real estate.
I'm gonna put Sean.
So there's Sean's.
Johnny's first one on here.
All right, and then we can do a little dissection action too.
We can do some dissection.
We'll get in there.
All right, I'm ready. I'm tired of looking at that whammy. It makes me want to bark. I'm just kidding.
Well, I was going to say, we talk about preamps and drives and stuff like that. Really, so I started playing that Soma into that OD1X, into the Analog Man. And what's cool about the Analog Man is that boost thing. But
that is cool, actually.
I would swap out preamps.
What does the Soma do?
It's a preamp. 63 preamp, so it's supposed to mimic like an old board,
Yeah, I'm into that.
I believe.
Who asked you about Altoid 10s? Oh yeah, Tom. That's very 2015. Past it. I've never had an Altoid 10 because I religiously keep my pigs in my pocket where they belong. It's where they belong. Yeah. Robbie, I used the Voodoo Lab stuff forever, and then in like 2018. When all my stuff burned up in a stupid fire, I switched over to the CS12, the True Tone, the One Spot Pro stuff. And now I've got that, and I got a CS7, and it's just got a few more options than the Voodoo Labs, the Pedal Power Plus, like as far as 18-volt stuff and like this stuff you can run at 9 or 12.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of that.
Well, I think the True Tone stuff's great. The Fender stuff was surprisingly good.
The Powerhouse thing, yeah. Actually,
it's got like a USB charger on it.
Sometimes we talk junk about Fender like not innovating, and then they put out something like that that's actually good.
But nobody
and
pays
then
attention
no
to
one
it.
cares. They're
It
like,
was
no.
awesome.
Same thing with the Fender, the last sort of line of Fender pedals.
God, the pin.
Man, they were
that was
really
a
good.
Great rotary effect.
They were really, 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 really good.
I mean,
Altoids with LSD, I like it.
so somebody asked.
Eric says
me,
he's got the CS12. Yeah, it's great.
Are there any pedals that you didn't expect to like, but which have become important to your sound?
No, I'm just kidding. No. Well, maybe in the past. Not everything I have now. I don't know. I feel like you hit a point where you kind of know what you dig for the most part. I have a feeling the Swollen Pickle I'm going to really dig now that I know about the internal trim pots.
Thanks to Mary McCheese. That was
think,
cool.
yeah.
He gave us the rundown on that,
Which
dope.
was awesome. Okay.
All right.
So this is just my little grab and go board, but I'm starting to use it more and
it's
more.
little.
It's really all you need. I mean, I say little, but it's got what, 7 pedals. That's powered by the CS7, I think, from True Tone. That petty drive, man, it really is. I mean, it's overdrive, but they're really kind of like preamps, especially the right.
Well, what I was
That's
gonna
a
say
killer
is,
pedal.
What's interesting, no fuzz. 0 fuzz on this
The
board.
Red Llama can get fuzzy.
Fuzzy?
I'm not really using it that way. But, you know, that's also a great little, that Crybaby is like not the mini one, but it's the junior that's like pedal board sized. Feels like a full size one, but it doesn't take up the whole tiers of your pedal board. So you can have the little, the little tuner turn sideways, which is kind of awesome.
I mean,
So,
it's good. I'm big about organization. Your organization's good here too.
well, yeah,
like that.
I'm into that, the signal flow and it all being neat.
I
You know,
like it. You know, I can't stand taking a full-size pedal and turning it sideways. And I've got that afterneath on my board that's sideways right now. It's driving me insane right now thinking about it. And it will continue to do that.
here's my main board. Yeah, pretty good. Lots more pedals, 11 or 12 pedals.
The Octonaut.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
The man's got an SP.
I'd like to make one point to our friend Tom, who says, tell us why we're cash poor, why you're not. Have you ever gone to a mechanic and said, man, you're so cash poor because of all these damn tools you have? I can't believe you have all these damn tools. Now, if I just sat at home and played on my couch, yes, that's why I'd be cash poor. But this is 20 years of playing live and making money that way. So that was all I'd like to point out.
That's right.
You know, I love you all.
It's good stuff, though.
So there you go.
I like that. It's good
Thank
board.
you. Thank you, Tom. Fair point.
Fair point.
Fair point. I know. It's horrible. It's horrible. Let's see. Mary McCheese says, I tried one of those clones the other day. Some of those are really good. I'm interested in since I've been on the Way Huge kick, they have the conspiracy theory. And they had this special one with Joe Bonamassa where they found these super secret diodes. Sometimes I think that's kind of like, sure you did. Where'd you find them? But anyways, and they made the deep state version of the conspiracy theory.
Just spitting into the back of every pedal. He's like, there's your secret diodes.
But, yeah, clones.
Clones.
How do you feel about a clone? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
that?
Because I realized
You ready?
the reason that I did not think about the conspiracy theory is I realized I have a handful of clones already, and I've owned more. So I have the Matthews Effects Architect, which is a clone that goes from the normal, I think it's germanium diode to a silicon one to no diode. It makes it more like a boost. I have the Octonaut hyperdrive. What's the name of that company? And they're all virally. They do the Instagram marketing. What are they called?
It was just right there.
But anyways, it's the Octonaut like hyperdrive or something. Technically, Interstellar Audio.
Interstellar Audio.
I'm technically an artist of theirs, so I should know.
Damn it.
And then I've had I feel like I know I've had more than that. I have both of those currently, which are both clones.
Not for this guy. All right, let me tell you something. I've never owned a clone.
Never?
I've never enjoyed.
No clones with a
No.
K?
I've played the
K-L-O-N-E?
I've played a real clone. I've played a bunch of KTRs.
How'd you feel about the real clone?
Who cares? I'm sorry.
That's what he says about Eric Clapton and Vince Gill, apparently.
Who cares?
So I don't know if I can trust your opinion these days.
You better be able to trust it, damn it. Because let me tell you, the clone conspiracy is true. It's all made up. It's a lie. Get a GE7. $250. Buy a GE7.
The GE7, I mean, I am kind of sold on that. I keep forgetting I have our friend Aiden's GE7 and the whole box of other cool pedals.
Oh, yeah.
I can give them back to him.
I was like, I thought they were over there, and I looked. I was like,
Nah, they're at my house. I took them home. Sean, are you a fan of hard clipping?
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
How much? Here's a question for you guys, because like hard clipping, right? The pork loin thing I was talking about that I really want, that I needed one of you to trade me, is soft clipping, which I love the sound of. How many of those things does the average like guitar player person, like, I don't know if I really know the difference in hard clipping. Like, I kind of know what the sound is, right? Hard clipping, soft clipping, silicon diodes, these diodes. Because I remember having the, what's the big earthquaker? The Palisades.
Yep.
And it had that rotary knob that went through all these different clipping options, like different, like asymmetrical and no diode. You know what I mean? It was like, got heavier as you went. That made me dive into it for a while when I owned that to see, like, what the deal is. But, like, does that matter? Do people know that, or do they just want to hear what it sounds like?
I mean, I think once you hear what it sounds like, maybe that's more of a place to depict it from, but you also got to think, it depends on what tones you're chasing, right? Like,
do you think that's the key? Like knowing, okay, what kind of clipping is a rat, and I like that, and so like, let me go look at that kind of pedal, right? Or I hate rats, so when you're looking at a new pedal and you see, oh, it's the same type as a rat, maybe that's not where to start, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a fair point of that. Is like, because like for me, rats are cool, but that's not been something that I've like kept on a board.
That fuse is supposed to be
A rat.
the rat with plus fuzz.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Which I like it.
That's a cool.
That's a cool
take.
pedal,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily a pedal that becomes like part of my sound. In my brain, that's a cool studio pedal.
Yeah.
You know,
for that one moment that you need it.
You know.
Yeah.
Jack, hello, sir.
Jack.
How are you? We got to talk about Jack's friend.
That's right, Mr. Chandler, who makes these sick hats. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up the name of his company as well. I meant to write it down. I didn't have my notepad today. Let's see.
It's man, I got it.
I got you right.
You got
here.
it? You got it?
WildHatsOfficial.com.
Listen. I don't know if I like hats, and maybe they make me look stupid sometimes. But I feel like the point of a hat is you just got to wear it and like not give care.
Yeah.
To keep it
You gotta
friendly,
own it.
family friendly. You just got to own it, right? You got to be like,
This is me.
hell yeah.
This is where I live.
But these hats, tell me the name of them again.
Wild Hats Official.
And their Instagram page is cool. You can see them all. But that burnt down bar, that's the name of one of the things. And they're like the ones where they burn them with fire. So if you don't like relics, maybe you won't like these. These are essentially relic hats.
That's exactly what they are.
Man, those things are cool.
Up.
And I believe our friend Jack is getting one.
Oh, there we go. Look, Derek's got a
I like
spin
some of
on the
those cowboy
screen.
things. And they're not for like custom hats. They're not horrible. I mean, hats get expensive. Especially it depends on what you're getting them made out of. Like if it's rabbit or what kind of fur felt or, you know.
A whole rabbit?
A whole rabbit. Beaver. You can get beaver.
Jack said he's in the Facebook chat. He said, "Thanks, guys. The hat is going to make me play better."
Listen, have you guys ever read the Captain Beefheart tips to the guitar player? No. He says the guitar player's always got to wear a lid. But you know how I don't know if you've ever read that list. It's
Keep
kind of
that
ridiculous.
cap on it.
But he's like, he's talking about how you need to sweat and have the heat in there. Yeah, but that's one of the things on the Captain Beefheart's list or whatever. I'm sure you could find that on the internet somewhere. But yeah. Liam says he's got a couple of relic hats. I feel like, Liam, those aren't relics. I feel like you did those the honest way, probably, if your wife wants you to get rid of them.
Just okay, though. Hold on to memories.
Jack, I'll be excited to see your hat, man. I might have to think about the burnt down bar one of these days if I can get my pedal habit in check, so I'll stop being so cash poor.
Why do that, though? You know? I kind of want to buy a real Russian Big Muff.
Do you?
Sorta. Not like...
And that green?
I'm not hard up about it. It would be like if I bumped into one, I'd look at it and be like, all right, let's see what it does. Let's see what happens. They're noisy. Like Baxter Smallstone, that's a noisy pedal, man. Like, it's loud as hell.
Jack, you'll have the hat? Like, so it's custom made and everything, and you know you were going to have it in the end of September? That's pretty cool. Because you already did the consultation with him, right? So that's pretty cool. Neil says a Stetson is the best tone hat. Derek's got a pretty sweet Stetson.
It does.
That
Kind of old
I like a ton. What's the name of that one, Derek? Do you remember? What's the style of yours? It's not an open road. Like I've got an open road that's cool, but Derek's is cooler because it's like a slightly bigger, not crazy big, but a slightly bigger brim.
Never talking to Sean again. How dare
Thank you, Nick. That's the right.
Vince.
Let's all shame him until he changes his taste.
Listen, Eric Clapton, I'll give him a handshake, and I think he's fine. I don't want to make it sound like I absolutely despise the man. He's
but
okay.
he does.
I just think, we don't all need to get down on our knees at the same time,
Listen,
all unzip his pants.
One of the
pull it
things
out,
that I love about Sean is that we could all shame him, like I just said.
Never.
And that would make him even more be like,
I could double
F
down.
Clapton, F you guys.
Damn
And that's
right.
one of the best, Sean's best traits is that he would never give in to shame on those things, which is amazing.
Yeah, I double down on the Vince Gill.
Brim Envy, that's a great name.
Brim Envy.
We could start a band called Brim Envy.
That is good.
And I'll wear like the fedoras with the tiny little.
I don't know if you just coined that or not, but that's good.
I don't know.
You could do
It's
a
very
band
good.
That. You could do
It's very
and then
good.
Company that. That's amazing.
Oh, we are divided now. The Eric Schubert. Should we? I know we're talking about hats. We're talking about Vince Gill hate and Eric Clapton. By the way, a new True Tone Lounge on the Ask Zach channel drops this morning, where they're interviewing Vince Gill, and it was pretty darn good. The half of it that I watched or listened to on the way to work. But anyways,
Bert from Bert and Ernie said he misspelled my name too. So Sean is an ass. You
you're
got
damn
that
right he is.
You got that shit
He
right.
proudly is an ass.
Try again.
That's Sean and this
love
Sean. All right, so let's go back. I don't feel like we got through our talk about pedalboard real estate.
Oh yeah. So,
We're being serious today. Damn it, we're being real.
serious. My issue with my pedal board, and as you can see, I got stuff I got the one afterneath on there sideways, which I can't stand, right? But I want an expression pedal, and if anybody out there knows of this solution, I've done zero research yet. I'm sure I can find it. I want an expression pedal solution that I can run to 4 different pedals,
Oh.
and then have the expression be changeable so that I can use an expression pedal with any 4 of these pedals.
You're almost, it sounds like to me, and you guys maybe will know better because I love pedals, but I'm pretty old school analog about it. But I feel like you could run one of those little MIDI things, have the expression pedal out of that, and then have the presets where it routes it to control whichever pedals you have in there.
See, that's what I'm thinking I'm going to have to do. Now,
I don't know how you would do that analog without a big switcher maybe.
something crazy, right? Because like I said, I think what I want to make is something that is the size of the expression pedal, and then at the top is where that device will go. Or maybe flip them at the bottom so that I can hit it without bumping anything else, right? But have it separate from my board off to the side, so that's just in my pedal board bag and I pull it out with that.
The only thing
idea
I'll
is keep
say
it
about
smooth.
that is every time I think I'm going to have something off to the side of my pedal board, it only takes me a handful of gigs where I'm like, screw this, and then I stop doing it, or it's just a hassle, you know what I mean? It's just an extra hassle.
Where I've been at. you know?
And like if you got a place where you get to a show and it's at a theater or something and you got all day to set up, cool, you know.
Yeah.
But if you get there and it's a quick changeover and there's 8 other bands, or like it's
You don't
a
have to be
club
ridiculous.
and it's like let's go, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just a little, I don't know, it's kind of a pain. I will agree with Nathan when he says if you're a musician wearing a hat, it must include feathers. This is true. I thought everyone just knew that, but way to bring that up, Nathan. But quickly, someone said,
Children should be seen and not heard.
ouch.
That's a good
Wow.
Polish saying. That's
Good
that's in
Polish
my
saying.
house.
There you go. It's getting hearty in there, Bert.
Man, let's hear of Todd Roy. Todd Roy says thoughts on multi-effects on pedal boards, multi-effects units. I'll let you go first, Sean.
Well, me personally, I always end up taking them off. Like that MD200, I couldn't have it on a pedal board. I could use it in the studio. I don't like. I usually set my pedals to a place, and I'll tweak them, you know, here and there, but usually it's set, you know, and I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to bump it, and especially that MD200, even being able to, they make it really seamless to swap through the presets.
They do.
I don't like doing any of that.
And it's only like 5 presets, which is what I like, you know.
Yeah, I'm dedicated to.
But you still don't dig that, right?
I don't.
So I love things like that, like small multi-effects, because like I don't use any one modulation enough other than maybe tremolo to have like a dedicated pedal. So like that lets me have all the modulation. So I kind of dig that. I don't like the huge ones like the Strymon ones, even though they sound fantastic. Just because I feel like it's too much, and I don't use it to its full potential. Now, if you were like a MIDI guy where you had a MIDI switcher, you know, cool. Yeah. I will say, man, it seemed to me like for the longest time, some of the great session guys like in Nashville, I would see over and over again, like that Line 6, the M9, which was all the different effects. It was like their Swiss Army knife. And then the smaller one when it came out, the M5. Yeah. And I still see those a lot. People get them modded so the switches are nicer and they're quieter. Yeah. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I've had pedal boards where I'm incorporating those things. In fact, I've used a Helix Stomp on my pedal board before, just because it was like, if I needed to go direct, I could. It had a looper. It was the catch-all, and I could have it set as just all, you know, like delays or reverbs, which is what I thought sounded the best on those things. And those tend to be digital a lot of times anyways. So yeah, man, I'm not opposed to, you know, and I don't think you're opposed. It just never works for you, right?
It just, yeah, every time I've gone to use one, I just find myself leaving it wherever it's set at. And I, you know, never dial in any more than that. So that's just me, though.
So yeah, you know. But yeah, I think, so, you know, I think that's it.
That's right. I mean, I don't know. Have you, like, I guess it depends too. Is it a situation where you're trying to run like one of those old Zoom pedals? Because I've played with guys who do those, and some people know how to use the hell out of them, especially bass players.
Well, I mean, I think that everything, we talk about this, right? Yeah. It comes down to like knowing how to work what you got.
Yeah.
So if you had one of those forever and you just used it, cool. Yeah. Usually when that stuff sounds horrible, the person just maybe either didn't have the time or hadn't taken the.
That's what I'll say.
Know,
they usually all sound good. Like the MD200, everything sounds good. Let's see what we got here.
Clyde Broadway, can you tell me how much a demo stamp to value a 2016 Les Paul Custom Black Beauty? He wants $3K. Just scared to choose to lose a chunk of money. I mean,
I don't know.
Derek might know the most about this, honestly.
I think Derek had a demo. Didn't you have the demo?
How much do you think that knocks off that guitar, Derek?
Maybe it depends if it's bought from the demo shop.
Yeah.
Those are usually about $600 cheaper than a new one.
Yeah. So Derek's saying that like if you buy them from the demo shop, they're about $600 cheaper. I mean, I think this was a 2016, so I don't even know if was the demo shop a thing.
Mine was a mod shop. Mine said mod on it, not demo.
I think the demo shop's been going on since 2014 or 2015. Okay. I could be wrong about that.
You might be. That could be right.
I don't know, man. That's a good question, though. I mean,
I'd have to look into it a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
I'd be a little wary of $3K on a demo if I didn't know much about it.
Yeah.
That was stamped as a demo.
I mean, I would. If you've been able to play the guitar, which I'm sure it may be something where you haven't. If you really like the guitar and you feel like it's worth $3K, then that's one thing. But if you're weary about it because you're like you might get it and play it for 6 months and want to trade it, you know, maybe then be a little more cautious, or at least be like, hey man.
Yeah, if you're not dead set on I'm keeping this guitar. Yes. I mean, that's still $3K for that guitar is pretty darn good.
It is.
I don't know. I'm sorry. That was just us being wishy-washy.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like,
we feel your pain. We empathize.
Well, how many demo shop stuff have you played that you're actually kind of like, damn? Like I've played a bunch of them that
I will say I've not played any of the demo shop stuff where I was like, well, this sucks. I'd never have this. This is horrible. You know what I mean? Like usually it's like, more often it's, well, why is this? I can't figure out what's wrong. You know. So, you know, you're probably okay. Does Casino stock any pedals or pedal boards? We do stock pedals.
We do.
And we have an eclectic little mix
Yep.
We don't really have any boards. Now, you might say that's stupid. You're a guitar shop. Baxter's not crazy into pedals. And his vision's always been sort of higher end, get a Fender Custom Shop, that PRS, that kind of stuff. And we have a finite amount of space. We're not a huge physical shop. And we figure if people are going to buy that stuff online, they're probably going to buy it from Sweetwater, Musician's Friend, Guitar Center.
It's kind of like our pedal selection, too. We went hard in that for a little bit, and what we had happen was, and there's a big run of this for a bit, mid-pandemic, where guys were coming in, and they'd play the pedal here, and they'd spend like 2 hours with it. And I'd talk to them about it, or you'd talk to them about it. We'd spend a lot of time with them hanging out. And then they would come back in a week later and said, man, I appreciate you so much for helping me look at that pedal and figure it out. I bought one from Sweetwater. It's going to be here tomorrow. Great. We have it for the same price. Well, I would have discounted it for you. All that stuff. But, we went through a bad run of that. I think that also...
And even when it's not, it's just like, there's not like a ton of markup or making much money in pedals. So, the stuff we have is just for people who are local, who want to come in and grab stuff. We don't put a ton of that online.
That's right. But, same thing with the pedal boards, too. It's just because, we're going to have the one size that you...
It's just so easy to get any one you want off Sweetwater, exactly what you want. Yes. And we can't carry that many. So I think that's why we kind of don't. It's not because we hate anyone or don't want to sell you pedal boards or anything.
Check my microphone.
Check your mic, Sean.
Checking it. I don't know.
But yeah. Todd Roy says, get it. Worry about the price later on the demo shop. Seems like the consensus here is it's not taking a crazy amount away. Bill Altman says, Sean fan here, he's a great sound engineer as well. Sean is a great sound engineer. And I'm going to say it's because he does a crazy way he comes at it. He uses his ears. Not what everything's supposed to be set at.
No, never.
Never, ever. No, Sean's very, very talented in those things. And that's live and studio stuff. When Sean first started hanging out, and we did some recordings, he was already getting into it, but he's gotten very good at it. And it's been fun to see you get better at that.
I appreciate it.
Because, some people do it and they learn how to do it and they get everything recorded and they just think, oh, I've got it, I'm done. And I've seen you consistently. And this is true, right, for anything. Whether you want to be a good guitar player or good at making sounds with pedals or programming stuff, or you just got to keep learning stuff and keep doing it, right?
And I think this is something at the shop that we all have a good touch of is not being afraid to not know things. That's a big deal.
We were talking about that this morning before we started live streaming.
Yeah. That's half the battle, I think, is being able to, be humble enough or have enough humility to be like, no, I don't know everything, and I never will, That's a part of the fun. If I did know everything, that would suck, dude. It'd be boring.
Yeah, that's true.
But, anyways.
This is true.
That. My grandma's in here on Facebook. He is good at everything. That's a lie. Thank you, though. That's my mama hanging out.
Where's your mama? Is in here now?
Yep, she's in there right now, dude.
Wait a minute, where is she? Which one is she?
She came in on Facebook. There she
is.
is.
Okay, all right.
Boom.
He is pretty good at everything. And he's good looking.
No.
And he's good looking.
No.
This is your grandma that I've met, right?
Yep. This is the one that we played their 50th.
We had a shot together.
Played, did the shots, had fun.
It was great. We had fun, and I think we're planning some more stuff.
That's right.
She's delightful. So hello, it's Sean's grandma. What do you call her?
Mama.
Mama. I like that. Mama. Yep.
Brian Barr, did Baxter get my CD? What is the title of your CD, sir? And I'll double check with him. He listens to everything, and we got a back room over here that. It's funny because it is a bathroom, but there's this huge library shelving thing next to it. I mean, it's really big, and there's all these cool punk rock books and anything that you guys send us that are CDs and stuff like that. We put there. Now, here soon, I'm not giving anything.
Don't give it away, but there's some plans.
Some changes happening. We're gonna do something cool, and maybe we will have it somewhere in the set. I don't know. That's all I gotta say.
We're gonna start gluing things to the wall. It's going to be great.
Didn't even know about it.
Exactly.
Top
That's why
secret.
I'm like, top secret, dude. I'm not spilling the beans any more than that.
Man, Todd Roy says Clapton's coming to the U.S. touring with Jimmy Vaughn. Now, speaking of someone that I'm just like, Jimmy Vaughn, I'm like, but I'd love to see Clapton. I've missed seeing Clapton a few times, and I think
Cocaine.
that would be kind of cool. Someone said, if we can only have one pedal, which one would you pick? Does that mean like any sort of pedal, or does that mean like one overdrive pedal? Let's go with any type of pedal. What would you pick, Sean?
Dude, for the longest time, it would have been like an Avalanche Run or something trippy, but I think it's the GE7 now.
Just that.
I think I could live with just that. That thing is nuts. Like, I don't know. I just have no questions about that pedal anymore. I'm like, that's insane. What I can do with it, any guitar and any amp with that pedal,
It's kind of awesome.
amazing.
I don't know what mine would be. I mean, if it was just one pedal, maybe a tuner.
Well, hey, there's something there, all right? Tuner,
Because, you know, if
that's
you got an amp,
game-changing.
tuner, got to have a tuner. But, and it doesn't even really matter which one, but I just really like, even when you can't even tell it's there, there's something about a very slight delay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a really subtle delay.
So that'd be that octopus probably.
I could do that octopus and be super happy because it can just, you know, even when you don't hear the bum, 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 the repeats, just something. And I think I've said this before on here. I read an article one time in like Guitar World or something back before you could read everything on the internet. And they were interviewing Eric Johnson, and they asked him, or he said something like the difference between, you know, like an okay guitar player and an amazing guitar player or a pro guitar player, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he asked the guy if he knew what it was, and the guy's like, I don't know. And he's like, a little bit of delay. And I was like, oh, God, that always stuck with me. And I, you know, have definitely been guilty of overusing the old delay. But a really subtle delay when you can't even really tell it's there until it goes away, I think is nice.
I can get with that.
But, you know, I could also do any sort of like boosty, light overdrive, just to have somewhere to go on top of your volume knob with a guitar.
Well, you know, there's a good take in that, too, with playing an amp and just turning it up loud enough that you can control it that way. Mm-hmm. I think I never got that until I watched Baxter do it whenever I was a weird lad and I saw him play. And I was like, oh, it's like I get that now. I never got it before. You know, I never seen anybody do it.
Yeah, no, it's sort of a dying, lost art in a lot of ways.
It is, yeah. Well, it's like, you know, you hear these stories about those guys that would go out and they'd have like a Space Echo or the trim on their amp, and they could go back there and they could set it off of their ear to the tempo of what the song's going to be. I think in the same way, that is something that'll be lost because we've gotten so used to tap tempo and stuff.
Dude, I forgot who I heard say this, that like, oh, you don't always need tap tempo. And I realized that like, you just turn your delay to where it sounds cool to you. And then, I mean, unless you're playing straight up like U2 where the dotted eighth is part of the rhythm. Do you really need tap tempo? No, you probably
I used to
probably
never use
don't.
It. Then I went to a phase where I overused it, like I did it for everything, and it would just not even be worthwhile. And now I'm at a place where I think I've realized that, where it's like, sometimes just cut it on, see what happens, and then turn the knob. And
the only time I use I have one of those Wampler faux tape echoes that I really like, and I have it usually set to pretty long delay, and I'll use it rhythmically like that, and so I'll tap it in, or like I'll do the thing sometimes where if we're playing and I have the big board, at the end of a phrase, like if we're doing a long jam, I want to do the thing where I just go, and I want it to go in time with the song, and I'll turn it on not even while I'm playing, just for that. Yeah. And then we'll turn it back off for the share. Like that, I'll use the tap tempo
that
for.
That Wampler tape echo, dude.
That's
you
such
got
a
me
good.
Onto that. Like,
that's an underrated pedal. If you want a crazy tap, I know there's like the Volante and there's all this Strymon stuff and there's some killer stuff, but that thing.
It's the perfect size and it does just enough of like what like you're saying, like the Volante, right? That's killer.
So many things, though.
So
many things.
Yeah, that Wampler just gets it right, though.
That's one for me, right? Where like I did lose it, and I repurchased the same pedal. Yeah. So like, I think when I know a pedal is great is if I know if I like get rid of it or something, I absolutely am buying another one. Or like if it stops working, I'd go buy another one.
That's a pedal.
That's one for me.
I had to cut that off my board because it just didn't have the room, and I was so annoyed. I was like, but I'm also like,
because I don't use it a ton. But when you want it,
it's perfect.
but you wouldn't get rid of it, right? Because it's such a good
No.
sounding pedal.
I know at some point I'm gonna get some of that other junk off there, and I'll be like, yes.
Well, some of that stuff, like, and we were talking about this yesterday too. Some of that stuff when you're bored is genre specific, or it's like the phase of stuff you're in, right? Yeah. And I used to try to keep these bigger boards, like the second picture Derek put up, because, you know, I'd be in these country cover bands, and they'd be just covering all this stuff, like all this country, and then modern country just sounds like Tom Petty and classic rock, and or did then, and now it sounds like, you know, R&B and hip hop and stuff, and then, you know, but then you got the country artists. They also want to like do Enter Sandman and pour some sugar on me, you know, and that kind of stuff. And they'd be like, oh well, I just need all these gain stages, and I need any sort of delay, and I need all this stuff. That's where a multi-effects, by the way, back to Todd's thing, would come in handy. But now it's like, oh, I don't touch, like, you know, I don't need it all.
You know, probably better than even I do is like sometimes having that restriction on your pedal board
is
makes
creative.
you better. Yeah, it like makes you more creative. It makes you force yourself to evolve. At least for me, that's how it works. And that's what I like to get out of it.
Sean Brooks says, I feel like 99% of pedals get lost in the mix live. There's a lot to that, right? I feel like you should always have your pedals set on the subtlest, like you can stand it, right?
Yeah.
And like the more I play, the more I realize like as clean as you can stand. Like, I mean, like if it's a dirty part, you need it dirty. But get it like to where you want it, and then make it a little less dirty,
dude,
right?
It's like how
same for delay, same with all that stuff.
Yes, I'll challenge everybody to go back and listen to some of your favorite songs, right?
So clean.
And really, yes, like dig into the tones, because I think you'll sit back and you'll be like, oh damn, like that happens to me still. Like I might listen to a Nirvana song or something like that, and it's still like I'm like, that's not as dirty as I'm thinking it is in my head. Like,
well, it's because, right, and like when I was first starting to play, this happened to me a lot. It blends in with like the hi-hat and what's going on with the cymbal wash and like all these things that you kind of perceive until you really listen as the
yes.
And it's not that dirty. Like AC/DC. How many AC/DC like cover bands have you seen that it's so distorted and dirty, and you're like, oh, that's not really. It's just loud and like in your face. It's not that crazy saturated. You know what I mean?
I was listening to something the other day, and I was thinking, man, he must be beating the hell out of it. Every other time I'd listen to it, but I heard it, and each time he came around, it was a lot cleaner than I thought it was, and it was one strum, one hit. It's the most rock and roll thing ever. I want to touch on one comment here from a bit ago. It was just a few minutes ago. It came from Brian Varr.
Let's hear it.
Any comments on the LPB-1 units?
No.
Jimmy Page used one at the Grand Ballroom on the first Led Zeppelin tour. My job was to set up the stage back in the day. I have always wanted to play one of those, and I have yet to. Have you ever played one?
I had one on my board for a long time.
What? Dude, I've been wanting to play one of those for a minute. Like the last 8 months I've been looking at it.
Okay, so like that's an electric harmonics thing, right? The electric harmonics made the one for a while. That was just bare bones. It's just a linear preamp boost. That's what that LPB stands for, if I'm not mistaken. And I used that thing as a solo boost for a long time. And you know, when you buy it in the manual, the electric harmonics, and this was like early 2000, like 2000 and like, I don't know, 3 or 4. I'm talking like way back then. I had one on my board.
Yeah.
And I was using it after drives as like a boost. But I mean, they were talking about how, you know, one of the intended uses was like switching guitars with different outputs, and you could equalize everything, right? So that's a cool pedal, but man, it's got a lot. I mean, it's got a lot of boosts on tap.
Cool.
You could like probably kill something. I mean, like you put that thing in an effects loop, and I imagine you'd blow your amp up because it was just so much boost on tap. But
now I want to get one.
no, I mean that was a cheap little, you know, the one I had was just a little cheap reissue.
I was gonna say the reissue ones look like they cost nothing. They look like the.
But it just works. It probably is the clean, like the straight up, just what you have louder.
Yeah.
Now, of course, like when you like dump that into the amp, like your bass increases and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I sort of moved on from that to an EP boost for a long time by Exotic. So I ran that because for a long time, a big part of my sound was I did have a boost post drive just to get up with solos until I started realizing that a lot of times what I thought I needed more volume for, I just needed to change the EQ to cut through. I didn't necessarily have to be like crazy louder.
That is nuts, right?
But yeah.
That happened to me last night using that Crimson instead of the other one, right? I cut on the Crimson, and I was going into a transition part, and totally just by chance, I had the Crimson on, the OD1X, and that boost pedal, right? So it's a lot of gain staging happening and pushing, right? And as we get up to the chorus, for whatever reason, I just cut off the Crimson, and it dropped out a lot of that kind of like lower mud shit, and then my guitar came right through. It's the best sound ever for a chorus.
Isn't that great?
Whoa. I was like,
and you think dirtier, right?
It
And not
lifted,
necessarily.
yeah.
Okay. Nathan mentioned this too. He said that he always feels like he loses volume when he turns his pedals on. First, I got to read Tom's comment because it is pretty fantastic. It says, we need a Mandela effect drive pedal that isn't as distorted as you remember it being. That makes me so happy. I want that. I want someone to make that so. And you do win the internet for the day. But the thing you're talking about, right? When you set up drives for live and you're standing there and nothing else is playing and you hit your cleanish tone or whatever your amp tone is and it's like a certain amount of loudness and then you hit that overdrive tone and you're like, whoa, it's loud. And I used to do this to myself all the time. And then I would turn the volume down on that and I would try to get them at unity. Yeah. Well, then without fail, and I'm playing and I go to hit the dirtier sound that you want to be punched in your face and you hit it and you feel like you get quieter, right? Like how many... that's probably exactly what Nathan is saying.
I know it, yeah. I feel like we've all gone through that.
You've got to set it where, like, when it's just you standing there, that drive sound is noticeably, uncomfortably maybe, louder, so that they feel even remotely the same, and especially if you want that little extra push when you turn it on. Because the more saturation and compression you get, the more your tone, it's perceived volume over real volume, right? And, like...
And pulling back.
It just doesn't cut the same.
Pulling back on the gain, dirt,
the actual, it's the saturation.
Pull back on that and push the volume
up.
You got me on that because I was using the Aegis for a long time, and I was having that issue, and I was like, I don't understand why it's not coming forward. And you were like, it's too dirty to let it be loud. And it sounds great when you're sitting there by yourself, but it doesn't sound great in a band, in a mix. No. And we all want that singing thing, sustain for days. And some of that just comes from getting your amp up a little bit, right? But you can't do it that way. I mean you can, but you will get lost in the mix. I'm so excited to go to the Rooster tonight, so I can show you that Soma into that OD1X. I can't wait to hear that. The amount of sustain that my Strat has right now is ridiculous. You can just like hang on the note. We're gonna go down there. We're gonna mess around some. Jam. Oh wait a minute! Somebody's mentioned Mike Campbell. You know how much I hate talking about Mike Campbell. Now there's a respectable guitar player right there. Mike Campbell has some of the best guitar recordings on his albums. He really does. Some amazing tones. Listen to Pistol, A Packin' Mama. Chris Stapleton plays and sings on it. Also, when he recorded Don't Knock the Boogie. I mean, and you listen to some of that Tom Petty stuff that you think is so rock. I mean, I know it's not that rocking. It's like, but you think some of those tones are like crazy dirty. And man, there's some of them are stupidly clean when you listen back to them. I mean, a great record to go back and listen to is Full Moon Fever. And listen to those big rockin' songs, and listen to the guitars, and you'll be like... And listen to how little they're actually like hitting that chord, just letting it bloom. Casper G, you can order a PRS with us, guys. Shoot us an email, shop@casinoguitars.com. Put that maybe in the subject, ordering a PRS, and we'll sort you out. I don't know if you mean like speccing one out, like ordering one, or like you want one that we have, but we can do either one. So, yep, absolutely. Any way you want to go about it. Any way you want it, that's the way. What a great song. But yeah, yeah, here you go. I had a vintage hankering, Strat, or maybe start with a Mustang or Duosonic. Scary putting bids into guitars I can't play. Any tips? Man, that's hard. Now, again, Derek, probably more than any of us, has actually done this and gotten some cool vintage things that you didn't play first, right? Like that Jaguar, did you get to play it first? Briefly. Any good tips on that? How to go about that? Like, what are you looking for? What to do and not to do? I mean, I brought a little Spark amp with me that I was able to plug into my truck. Which is ingenious, dude. It is. It was the ability to really test all the tones. Yeah. You know. I mean, that's badass, especially because I got that Spark Mini now, the battery charged one too. If you had one of those too. Yeah. Any of that, that's like. Boom. Big brain idea. I can't tell you how many times I hear people come to the shop and complain about that. And they're like, can I just meet somebody here to test out a guitar? And it's like, we're fine with that, but also, That's a great resource. A Spark.
The Spark. The Spark amp. The Spark, I mean,
Mayor McCheese has been working on the expression pedal in the last 55 minutes that we've been on this live stream.
I've built one. It's done. It's never existed before.
I think I can fit max 3 outputs on one enclosure for your expression switcher. I'm fine with that, man. That's insane. Like, because anything, I know there's certain things I'm like, well, I'm good about, I can live without this. I can live without that. I got a slicer pedal that I've set to the tremolo setting that really I want to be able to control that. Mm-hmm. That afterneath, whenever you plug into the expression of it, and it sweeps and it goes. But
because you don't really experience the greatness of that pedal without that.
No,
like the sounds are cool,
good.
but you kind of need them to move. You know what I mean?
Well,
so much of that is the movement of it.
I love the reverb sound you can get out of it. I've got that dialed in, but I want to be able to control the time of that to get it to swing. And then the Avalanche Run, I think, would be the other one. I've never been able to do that one because I always had something else that I felt like was more important. So that's sick, though.
Good morning, Tony. I want to know how you like that Elmo pedal. You got the I don't know if it's gotten there yet, but it probably should have gotten there.
It should.
So let us know. Todd says he's speaking of reverb purchases. I think on one you can't play on a vintage thing, right? Like, this might be stupid, so you guys tell me if I'm being stupid. If you're sure about what it is, right? There is a certain inherent value in that with a vintage guitar, right? So it's not like, if you get it for an okay price, it's not like you're losing your value, right? You could turn around and sell it or trade it towards something. I feel like you're getting in the game when you get something vintage, like you got capital suddenly in it, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, if you get it and you love it, then it's like win-win. But if you get it and you're like, I don't know if I can get this playing how I want, you still got the whatever, Duosonic or Strat or whatever, and it's still worth X amount. So it's like you didn't throw your money away. Now you just got capital.
I think that's a great perspective on it. Here's my perspective on it.
Oh.
If you want to go, and also thank you, Tom. No leftovers today. I appreciate you.
We love you.
You're amazing.
We love Tom. Also, go back and read Tom's comments about the sound guy stuff. I mean, of course, you have to find a good sound guy, which sometimes is tricky. But some good insights on that. I was kind of keeping an eye on that. But anyways,
That's right.
Keep going.
I think a part of a vintage guitar is the journey to it. Now, you might be in a position where it's like, oh, well, you're telling me I got to drive 8 hours to get a guitar. And I'm like, no, maybe not that. But there's still stuff out there, if you bump into something, that's a cool moment. And then, obviously going to Reverb, going to different sites and looking at them, get your feet wet, and then I would say go for that, because I think once you're in that upper echelon or whatever you want to call it, that threshold of being in the vintage market, I feel like swapping and trading then becomes a little bit easier to swallow. Because you're like,
it does.
Okay, I know kind of what to expect. This isn't going to be the perfect guitar. It's going to be a guitar. Though.
Like your starter guitar. It's sort of like the idea of a starter house, which is whatever, but same thing. Now, Sean Brooks, this is actually a great question, and I got some thoughts on it, and you probably have some too. What do you guys think the price point is on guitars before you start seeing diminishing returns, i.e. what's the height of that bell curve? I would have said, not very long at all ago, that it was like a couple $1,000s. Prices are so crazy high right now, I think we're probably pushing. Well, and the other thing, man, is there's a horrible hole, like, unless you're willing to go to some outside brands, from like 2,000 to like 4,000, right? But I mean, realistically, in my brain, it probably sits at that kind of 3 point where things really start getting better, but they're really slightly better. So I'd say somewhere in that $2,500, $3,000 range, you start getting real diminishing returns. Because I really do think you play something like you guys might talk junk to me, but like play like a great Nash guitar, because there's some bad ones, right? But if you get your hands on a good one in that $3K range, it's not crazy better when you get to some of the $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 guitars that we see that are master. I mean, they are better. Well, but it is diminishing returns at some point.
And what I was gonna say too is it also goes into like what type of guitar you're going for.
That's true.
People love to make fun of relics, but I'll tell you, if you really think about it for a second, get a relic, and you can play the hell out of it. It's already beat up. Nobody's gonna tell you, oh well, this is only in good condition. As long as the frets aren't messed up and stuff like that, it's worth in that investment in itself. Now, the diminishing returns factor of it, I think, is higher. But if you're looking at the relic stuff to say, like, well, I know the value will be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 still, that's the case.
Well, here's a question. Here's a perfect thing, and Tony made me think about it because he bought one of these. The McCready Strat. We all like it. We think it's a good guitar, and it looks good. It's got, if the relic is your thing, it's cool. Would you say from that to a heavy relic custom shop, is that diminishing returns, or is it enough better that you wouldn't call it diminishing returns yet?
I don't know.
I can see Derek squirming over there. I think he must have some thoughts.
I'm just saying, thank our super chat guys.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. We're gonna hop back on him. Yeah, I think we were just trying to go down the list here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a trick, man. I mean, the custom shop, I think, will have diminishing returns in value, unfortunately, right now, and I think that is bound to change. I think we're in a bit of a golden era thing, and as to that waning, I don't know when, but I think there's going to be certain years of custom shops that'll be valued more than others, like there has been in the past.
Well, but it's hard to predict that sometimes.
Yes. But anyways, let's do the antique rocker here.
Best jaw-dropping guitar play on YouTube is Glenn Campbell playing the William Tell Overture on Ovation 12-string. That is pretty darn good. If you haven't looked into Glenn Campbell, a lot of people don't think of like their guitar heroes, guys like Glenn Campbell, right? Or Roy Clark, or like that kind of stuff. So yeah, go. In fact, now here's what's interesting to me when I read your comment. Is something I saw the other day. What's that flamenco piece that Roy Clark would play? He played it on like the Honeymooners, like at one point, and he was kind of famous for it. I can't remember the name of it, but it doesn't matter. And he plays it on a steel string guitar most of the time. Usually on I've seen him play it on Innovation, and I think of Martin. I've always thought it was pretty phenomenal, right? Because it is, obviously. And he's playing it with a pick. And obviously, as a classical piece or a flamenco piece, you'd play it with your fingers. It just happened to pop up on, I think it was Facebook Reels the other day, and I watched it.
Yeah.
All these people in the comments, pretty much shit talking, like that he destroyed it because it's not flamenco style, and then it was like blasphemous or heretical to play it with a pick, and on a steel string guitar, and that it was too fast, and all these things. And it was just funny because I've always thought of that as, wow, that's really technically amazing. Like, I could never find anything bad to say about it. But then you got these guys who are sort of, I guess, like flamenco or classical purists, and they apparently detest it. And I just thought, man, that's wild. You don't think about those different perspectives sometimes, right?
Well, and I think too, we're reaching a place with like comment sections and stuff like that where I don't know. I think we should be able to look at something and it not be in that style and say like, well, this is an artist using their paintbrush in the way that they paint. Where we critiquing him as if he I don't think he ever walked around and said, I'm a flamenco guitar player. I'm this.
Malaguena, that's what it is. Thank you, Fred Turbo. That's the one.
Which one is it?
It's called Malaguena is the piece. I'm probably saying that horribly wrong.
Malagueno.
Feel free to make fun.
But, that is a, I don't know. I don't think he went around saying that. It's like people talk about Kurt Cobain and they're like, oh, well, he's not that great of a guitar player. He never said he was. He wasn't trying to be a guitar god. He wasn't going around telling people I'm the best around. He was
but he was pretty amazing. That dude's, maybe you don't like that piece, but like his playing, man, is pretty stupidly good. But let's see. Somebody said, talking about comment sections are the scourge. Comment sections can be brutal. Like, I tend to not read our comment sections in our normal videos.
Well, that's where I do love that our comment section for these is always phenomenal. Like, we have curated a lot of awesome people here, and I'm glad that you guys have all come and been a part of this and continue to. Hope you continue to.
Well, the cool thing, right, is that I think in this scenario, like, you guys are commenting and we're all having like it's almost like we're talking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we are,
Yeah.
And then if you put a video up and people just assume that you're, they put some god-awful
Oh
things.
yeah, dude. Yeah, people just say like
God,
insane stuff.
And sometimes I think like, what is wrong with these folks?
Well,
They would say such a thing. We have one dude that comments on every one of our videos,
Dude.
and for a while it bothered me, and then I was like, okay, never. He comments on every video, every video.
And he says his comment is, "You're a winner. Contact us at."
There's those two. They all live in about the same place to me. But what are you gonna do?
Oh yeah.
What are you gonna do? Let's see. Someone said the Magnetone comment surprised me with the negativity. See, I don't even know. I don't even know what the. But which video was it, Chuck, on the Magnetone stuff? People are negative. That's the thing. People are negative.
That's
about
right,
anything.
Ned. We're talking about you. We see you.
So,
No.
who knows? Who knows? Yeah, no, people are kind of the worst. But it's fine, Ned. Ned says, don't call me out like that. No, Ned, we love you. We love you. And your Gretches. But yeah, sometimes you just never know. Man, how do we get to an hour and 6
I know,
minutes
it's weird, right?
already? Already. Yeah. So. Todd Roy says, I've never seen any Magnetone negativity. People love Magnetone.
It doesn't exist. It's not there. It's not real.
It's the
Fake
greatest.
news.
It's the greatest. I don't know how you not love Magnetone.
I like them.
I'm biased.
Dude, I've been playing my varsity. I need a DW7. That's what I need.
What?
Yes, a DW7.
For a reverb tube?
Yes.
Sean's reverb tube
I
went all
swapped
like
it.
white. It's got like cataracts.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
looks like.
They said you can put in an AT in its place, and I did, and it like blew it. It's like great. Okay. The other tube was busted actually on the bottom half, so I was like, well,
It blew the tube.
yeah, like the tube, like part of it was stuck in there. I had to pull it out. Yeah.
Wonder if something's going on with that then, like one of the little
Nah.
internal fuse. Just keep putting them in there. It's fine. I get one show out of these tubes. It's crazy.
I think it's funny. I assume it's because of all the junk that I talked about reverb there for a bit, where it's like you don't need reverb on
you'll
your
never
amp.
have reverb in this
You
amp.
losers.
The reverb gods.
Exactly.
Dude, Chuck Mitchell, the Baby M80 is such a good amp. Oh, but that's
So
the one
good.
people talk junk about. People just all like to talk junk. It is really insane. But no, I think the Baby M80. I can't even listen after one. I'm just dumb that I want one, but yeah.
Imagine talking junk about something that, like, I don't know. Like,
Just
does that
doesn't
even
matter at all,
Yeah,
right?
like,
Well,
is it an amp?
There's
Like,
this weird entitlement of people like I don't know. Man.
how dare
It's
you
just so
play a
strange.
Baby M80?
It's just so strange.
Play a Marshall like a man. Okay. All right.
You know.
It's pronounced like matey. I like it.
Sean said, I generally don't leave negative comments, but when I saw the Fender Custom Shop Factory tour, I was like, okay, this isn't a custom shop. This is just a normal guitar factory that markets itself as custom.
Well, Sean, I'll tell you, as another Sean that was at the factory, I think it's still a custom shop. And to reason with you on this, I have a custom shop strat, and going to that factory, seeing the sausage made right in front of me, and I've been a little jaded the last year. I'm coming out of that, right? But going there and seeing it, all I could think was, man, I'm really proud to own the guitar that I own. Because it may seem like there's a million hands in there, but there's probably 60 to 70 people, maybe. And that's not even like a full... and they all knew each other. There had been people there. There was a guy who was there back whenever CBS
it's
owned
still
it.
Fender. Yeah,
That's
kinda
insane,
cool.
man. You know?
That's kind of neat.
That to me was like, that was eye-opening. I was like, damn. And all those people cared about what they were doing. Like, being able to talk to them when the cameras were off and stuff like that. I was impressed. So that's just my take on it, though. You could say, oh, well, you're being a shill because you sell them. But I came home and that's all I wanted to do.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, here was going to be my point about Sean's comment. Like, that's totally fine to think that, and I think it's fine to comment that.
Yeah.
But I doubt your comment was like full of vitriol.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
weren't
it's
yeah.
totally fine to like leave an opinion that maybe is contrary or maybe is
Absolutely.
like would be considered negative. I think that's
Yeah,
totally fine.
absolutely.
And I don't think anybody. I don't think any normal people mind that.
No, yeah. And
But-
I don't mind you even if, me saying all that and you still carry that opinion. That's perfectly fine.
Of
That's
course.
the world,
Because
But-
that's just, that is what
Yeah.
it is. And that's where, everybody gets to choose where they spend their
Yes.
money, right? And like, we just want to, and the point of that video, right, is kind of to show you, here's what it is, and then you get to make a more informed decision about it. But it's the people who are just assholes.
Yes. Well, and we always have this joke in the shop. We know whenever there's a bump in subscribers or bump in new people watching, because there's this whole new flood of Baxter hair comments, or it's really, that's the one that has seemed to stick. It's like, and you would think at some point people would notice. They'd be like, oh, everybody probably says that. Maybe I should think of an original thought. You know. Never changes though.
Now Sean has a good point. He says PRS makes its sausage the same way, and they don't build themselves as custom, but their core pieces are the same price as the custom shop. They're like a core PRS, like a real. I mean, you can get a CE, you can get an S2.
Yep.
But
the core models.
And to me, the custom shop offender is more like, you can just get whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to get whatever you want in PRS, you're in like crazy money, and same thing for Gibson. And they still won't do whatever you want at Gibson.
Yeah.
Like they'll just
what the custom shop at PRS, if there was something comparable, would be private stock. And if you would like to build a private stock, we will see you at $12,000.
Yeah, I mean, which is where the master built for Fender. No,
yes.
I mean, you could really realistically get a master built for Fender for like $8, which I know is still, the fact that I can say that so calmly is crazy. Yeah. But, that's just where it is. But still, I understand what you're saying for sure. Because I think you think custom, and I think maybe you feel like it should be boutique, like a dude sitting there at a bench.
Yeah. And I mean, I think too, what some people mistake a custom shop for is, like you're saying, this one singular person sitting there chiseling things out, to where I think they're calling it a custom shop in the sense that if you came to us and you wanted, a triple paint over Stratocaster with a backwards headstock, with the special tuners that you got, and it's got Curtis Novak pickups in them that you talked to Curtis Novak to have them sent there to have them put into the guitar.
That's pretty custom.
You also did some gold hardware, and you did clay dots, but you wanted to make sure, that's, I don't know what else you would refer to as a custom shop then, because that's insane. I'll even say insane.
We do most of the,
and I built that guitar for somebody,
Now, Chad B wants to know, can non-YouTubers tour the Fender factory? I'm pretty sure they can.
Yes.
I know you can at a lot of different guitar factories, but you can tour it as...
They just opened it back up to tours.
It was a lot of that stuff closed at COVID and is just getting back. But so yes.
That's right.
Sean to Sean. I like this.
I like it.
Sean to Sean.
Sean to Sean.
Let's see. I love the Baby M80. Yeah, Alex, you're Baby M80. I mean, I'm sure I haven't played a ton of them, just the ones we had to the shop, but God, they're good amps. And I maybe would say more useful than my regular M80. Because there's a lot of times I'll leave my M80 at the house because it's loud, and I take the Trilater. But if I had a Baby M80, man, that'd be the one that was going out.
Sounds like Johnny's going to be running 2 amps to me. That's what I'm hearing.
Could you do a Baby M80 and a Trilater? Would be pretty.
You just mic it up. I don't even think you need to mic it up. I think it rocks.
Oh, you could definitely do a small club with that Baby M80.
Yeah, all the way.
Without micing it up.
Hey boys, we'll wrap this up.
Wrap it.
For some of anybody that wants to stick around is from our members, the members only. I want to test a new streaming thing.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody from our members wants to sit in and like 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to go live just to the members, just to test some things, and I want to see if our video and audio quality is better with this other program. So
solid, cool.
Anybody that wants to beta test.
Do you have your mic over there?
If
do we need to repeat that?
No, just test.
If you hear, I don't know if you heard what Derek said. So we're about to wrap this up, but we're about to beta test another stream to just the members. So if you're a member and you're on here and you want to hang out for a few minutes, stay on and we'll say some ridiculous things.
Live again.
You'll see the live again. So don't go anywhere. But before we go, road to 100K.
Yep.
Remember, this month is 2 Mustang Micros.
That's right.
Not just one.
Not
two.
just one, but 2. So like, subscribe, leave a comment on the announcement video, and we're gonna do our randomizer puller thing and drop you out.
That's right. This is true. Yeah, man, thank you guys for all the cool comments. And it's fun. It's fun to talk through these things. Sean Brooks, like that was perfect, right? Cool to talk through that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Anyways, we love you all.
It's amazing.
But anyways, thanks for hanging out with us. You're awesome. And we shall see you hopefully in just a moment on the members only. But if not, we'll see you next week.
There you go. Da-da, da-da-da.